So I'm about to wash my hair for the first time this week. It's been about 7 days since I last shampooed. The reason why I mention all of that is because the hair fall you're about to see might be quite alarming for some of you, but it's a good way to introduce the topic of today's video. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rapper track Mr. Magic Marley Marl. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black. So I'm not gonna lie, this feels like one of the weirdest clips I've ever shot. So I've brought in a candle and a plant pot, so hopefully that levels the playing field a little. So this is all of the hair fall that occurred in the shower I just had. The reason why I wanted to showcase this is because you could quite easily look at this clump of hair and think, damn, I must be losing my hair. Why is my hair falling so excessively? This happens every time I shampoo. But in reality, it isn't as straightforward as that. It is commonly known that the average rate of hair fall is from 50 to 100 strands of hair per day. What that looks like will differ massively depending on your hair type, your hair thickness, and even your hair color. But hopefully me being sat here in front of my own clump of hair can kind of offer some perspective on what it can look like. It's also worth noting that the amount of hair fall here is slightly exaggerated because it was my first time shampooing in 7 days. But the point to take away from that is that all of these hairs only came out once I shampooed. So from that, it's important to recognize that you shouldn't freak out in the shower when you see a lot of hair fall, because that is where it's most commonly going to occur. Before we go any further into this video, please drop a thumbs up if you enjoy or find it helpful. It lets me know you guys like seeing these types of videos, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Something staggering like 83% of you aren't subscribed, and it'd be cool to see you guys here again. And feel free to check out my Instagram at Lucasantangelo for the odd bit of hair inspo. I'm also pretty active on my stories there, posting skate and lifestyle clips for the most part. Okay, so we've identified what natural hair shedding can look like, but what's the difference between hair shedding and hair loss? Starting with hair shedding, our hair goes through a shedding cycle which is broken up into 3 phases. You have the Anagen, also known as the growth phase. This is the phase that we're usually most interested in because it's the phase we can have the biggest influence on with variables such as our diet, lifestyle, and well-being. It can last anywhere from 1 to 6 years and is where a new hair follicle can grow on average ½ an inch to a full inch per month. To provide some perspective, the hair that you see on your head right now is most likely to be in this growth or the Anagen phase. The second phase is known as the Catagen or transitional phase, and to put simply, it's where the hairs that have been growing for 1 to 6 years are now ready to rest and stop growing entirely. This transitional period is the shortest phase of the 3. The final phase is the Telogen phase, which is essentially an accumulation of all the hair follicles that have passed through the Catagen phase. A hair follicle can be in this phase for up to 3 months, which is why it's natural to see hair shedding all year round. With that all being said, it is possible to cause premature hair shedding, also known as hair breakage. However, I've already made a video on how you can minimize hair breakage, which I'll be sure to link in the description. Hair loss, on the other hand, is the absence of growth. The most common cause of hair loss amongst men is male pattern baldness, and is usually identified by a receding hairline or significant thinning to the crown area. It affects around 1 in 2 men by the age of 50, and is ultimately dependent on your genetic sensitivity to dihydrotestosterone, also known as DHT. And so with that being said, the biggest difference that we've covered in this video is that the hair fall that you notice in the shower is most likely going to be a combination of hair shedding and hair breakage, whereas genetic hair loss tends to be more revealing in the areas we mentioned as hair begins to miniaturize and stop growing altogether. I'm not trying to suggest that all hair fall that occurs in the shower is a result of hair shedding. Instead, I'm trying to drive the point home that a lot of your hair shedding will reveal itself once you shampoo, and therefore when we see this buildup of hair in the shower, we're led to believe it's genetic hair loss, when in reality it could just simply be a buildup of hair shedding. Try your best not to obsess by taking pictures in the mirror every hour of every day. I've been there and it isn't a resourceful place to be. Take a deep breath and take a picture of the areas you're concerned with under the same light and same mirror, and check back every 2 to 4 weeks to see the extent of hair thinning and hair loss. If you do believe what you're experiencing is hair loss, my first piece of advice would be to seek a professional opinion. They'll objectively advise you of your condition, offer any treatment or medical advice, and most importantly, allow you to recognize what you're experiencing is totally natural and common. The most common forms of medical treatments usually include minoxidil or finasteride, which are formulated in some drugstore brands, But again, I highly recommend you seek professional advice before you hop onto any of these regimens. So that brings the short video to an end. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. Again, subscribe if you haven't already. And I just really wanted to quickly apologize about this lighting situation. It is so gloomy here in London, and it has been for the past few days. I haven't brought up any of my studio lighting, so this is going to have to do for today. Feel free to check out my Instagram. I post the odd bit of hair inspo there, as well as lifestyle and skate clips. But as always, thank you guys very much for watching. I'm always grateful to be a part of your day in some way. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.